She thought she was alone, in the shower, in her bedroom, in her most private moments. But every breath, every move was being watched. A hidden gaze follows these girls everywhere. Who is behind the cameras? And what terrifying secret are they searching for? This all started with the start of Marked Day.
Every year in every district at the exact same hour, one 18-year-old girl gets chosen. Some girls curled their hair, wore perfume, smiled like they were already somebody, because somewhere far from this town, 4 cardinal alphas were watching. Not for faces, not for names, for lunar potential. I took the long way to school, back alleys, side streets, trying to disappear. But you can't hide from a gaze you can't see. Marked Day only takes one girl, and by the end of the day, one desk stays empty forever. The sick part? Some girls pray it's them. Me? I already knew the truth they didn't want to admit. When alphas start watching, they don't do it by accident. The alphas called me special, but my town only had one name for girls like me. Whore's daughter. Must be a whore herself. That's what they've called me since I could walk. I am Violet Purple, and my mum Nancy is in fact a sex worker. I live in District 1, raised by a prostitute who found me in the trash. That's the version people whisper anyway. She named me Violet because of my purple hair. I grew up poor and abused, a freak with no explanation for my strange appearance. But to my surprise, I got accepted into Lunaris Academy, the elitist werewolf school where alpha werewolves pick their future queens. How the hell did I end up at Lunaris Academy? Me, a nobody, a virgin girl from the trailer park, and a wolf who wouldn't stop staring at me. I wasn't supposed to be out of my room when my foster mother, Nancy, had clients, but I'd gotten thirsty. Nancy survived by selling her body, and I survived by staying out of her way. A werewolf man sat on our couch. I could tell by the way he moved. In our world, werewolves had money, and humans had nothing, and Nancy's clients were always werewolves. But this one was different. He wore a dark blazer with a silver wolf crest stitched over the breast pocket. Lunaris Academy. He saw me and froze. His drink hit the floor. Amber liquid spread across the stained carpet, but he didn't notice. His eyes, glowing faint yellow, locked on me with something I couldn't read. Recognition. What is that? He breathed. Nancy looked irritated. That's Violet, my foster kid. Go back to your room, Violet. But the man grabbed wrist. Where did you get her? Foster system. Government pays me to keep her. Why? What's wrong? He didn't take his eyes off me. Look at her hair, look at her eyes. They're unnatural. She doesn't belong here in District 1. Unnatural. I'd heard that word before. Nobody could explain my purple hair. It wasn't dyed. It grew that way. And when someone cut it once, it grew back the same. Nancy's expression shifted, from annoyance to calculation. What are you saying? She asked quietly. The man lowered his voice. There are opportunities for girls like her. Nancy's eyes narrowed. Opportunities? At Lunaris? My stomach dropped. Nancy scoffed. That school is for bloodlines. Not anymore, he said. They're inviting human girls, scholarships, public competition. They're looking for compatibility. Compatibility with who? Nancy asked. With the 4 cardinal alphas, the most powerful alphas in the realm. Even in District 1, everyone knew those names. 4 wolves born under the same moon. 4 future rulers. The man leaned forward. If she ranks well, she won't just get an education. She could marry into power, into money. You'd be taken care of. Nancy glanced around the trailer, at her own life. How much? She asked. No money up front, he admitted. But if one of them chooses her, you'll never have to do this again. He was talking about selling me for marriage. Nancy studied me like I was an investment, calculating whether I was her way out. What would she have to do? Nancy asked. Attend, compete, be seen. And if she fails? He smiled slightly. Then you've got one less mouth to feed. My blood ran cold. He stood, smoothing his Lunaris blazer. I'll send word. He left. Nancy turned to me, like she was staring at a lottery ticket she wasn't sure she deserved. You heard all that? She asked. I didn't answer. Go to bed, Violet. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, trying to convince myself it was just talk. Just another wolf with big promises. Nancy thought the decision was hers. It wasn't. I didn't know that while I was lying there. Someone at Lunaris was already making the choice for me. The werewolf from Nancy's trailer stood rigid in a dimly lit office inside Lunaris Academy. Behind a massive desk sat a young man in an all-black Lunaris uniform. His posture was relaxed, but there was nothing casual about him. Dark sunglasses concealed his eyes, even indoors. His body was honed to be a weapon. This was Asher Nightshade, the most powerful alpha at Lunaris Academy, the future ruler of the Wolf Realm. "You're certain?" Asher asked quietly. The man swallowed. Purple hair, gold eyes. She reacted when I got close. Then, Asher leaned back slowly. "Send her file up." "That's it? That's it?" The man hesitated. "And the scholarship?" Asher's mouth curved slightly. "Approve it." A pause. Then, softer. "I'll see you soon, my purple queen." A few days later, Violet Purple stared up at Lunaris's Gothic gates. She didn't want to be here. She hated what Lunaris represented. Power, bloodlines, wolves. She couldn't explain why Lunaris Academy had offered a full scholarship to a girl from the lower district overnight. She stepped through the gates. Violet Purple! A girl with sharp eyes and perfect posture approached, tablet in hand. "I'm Alice, your student guide and your roommate. Unfortunately for both of us. You're the scholarship case. Lower district, no lineage, no pack affiliation. Human." Violet stiffened. "You forgot poor." Alice looked her up and down. That part was obvious. "So why am I here?" Violet asked. Alice studied her for a beat. "To compete." "For what?" "For Luna." Violet frowned. "Like prom queen for wolves?" Alice didn't smile. "This school exists to produce one thing," she said. "A bond between a cardinal alpha and the girl most compatible with him." "And how do you measure that?" "Ranking. Girls compete. Voluntarily." "Voluntarily," Violet repeated dryly. "For scholarship girls like you," Alice added, "it's framed as opportunity." Violet's jaw tightened. "An opportunity for what?" "For a bond with one of the cardinal alpas," Alice said calmly. "A permanent bond." Violet had heard the rumors growing up. Fated mates. A wolf recognizing the one written into their blood before birth. A pull so strong it rewired instinct. She had always assumed it was nonsense. "Sounds romantic," Violet muttered sarcastically. They reached the entrance to the main hall. Above the doors were 4 carved wolf crests. "Each crest represents a house," Alice said. "Each house belongs to one cardinal alpha." "Cardinal? Why do you keep saying that word?" Violet asked. "They were born at the exact same moment," Alice said quietly. "During a lunar anomaly. Some say the moon goddess created them to clap back at the humans. You know, after they massacred nearly 90% of the she-wolves." Alice continued. "The cardinals were born with powers unlike anything seen before." "Powers to do what?" "To restore dominance," Alice said. "To remind humanity who leads." The air suddenly felt heavier. Roman, Griffin, Alaric, Asher. Even their names carried weight. "They rule this school," Alice said, "and someday much more." She pushed the doors open. High above the main hall, something stirred. A massive screen embedded, glowing with shifting symbols. It wasn't decoration. It was a scoreboard. The lunar board. It ranked potential lunars. Not by grades or strength, but by compatibility with alphas. "The higher you rank," Alice said quietly, "the closer you get to them." Violet stared at the 4 empty thrones. "And if they like what they see?" she asked. "They don't like. They claim." Silence. "And once a bond forms, it can't be undone." Violet's pulse skipped. "So whatever you do," Alice added softly, "don't attract their attention on your first day." As if summoned, a burst of reckless laughter echoed from behind. Fast, wild. Violet turned and collided straight into solid muscle. Before she knew what was happening, the guy's arms were around her waist, steadying her. "Well, hello there. Look what fate just delivered." Her gold eyes snapped up at him. Her pulse spiked. The air trembled. Roman, one of the 4 cardinal alphas, blinked in return. His grin faltered, just a fraction, like he'd felt it too. "What was that?" he muttered under his breath, too low for her to hear. They stayed like that for a moment. His warm breath tickled her neck. Violet shivered, realizing how much trouble this guy could be. Then the chaos resumed. A loud growl roared from nearby. "I'd love to get to know you, my purple princess, but there's a monster about to kill me." What is going on? Before Violet could even ask, the green-haired guy was running again. Just as Violet was about to make a quick exit, she noticed something on the floor. It was a sapphire pendant, a teardrop surrounded by tiny diamonds. "Hey, you dropped this!" she yelled, figuring it must have fallen off when they collided. Violet frowned. This wasn't just any necklace. The intricate engraving suggested a family heirloom. Another growl split the air, louder, closer. She looked up. A red-haired werewolf stalked toward her, muscles coiled tight with barely restrained violence. Hatred burned in his eyes. "What did I do?" she thought, panic rising. His gaze locked onto the necklace. Without warning, he lunged. "Help!" His hand closed around her throat. His grip was crushing, and something inside her reacted. Not heat, not recognition, pressure. Her pulse surged violently in her veins, like her blood rejected the contact. Griffin, another of the Cardinal Alphas, froze for half a second. His pupils flared wolf-wide. A low, guttural growl rumbled out of him. Not triumph, confusion, as if his wolf had expected something else. Violet's vision blurred. Why isn't anyone helping? The other students looked away. A chilling realization washed over her. This guy could kill her right here, right now, and no one would care. This wasn't an execution. This was something else. Fate. They stared at each other with unsettled recognition. Panic blinded her until, just as suddenly, he sat her down almost gently. To Violet's surprise, his eyes softened for a second, like he hadn't meant to hurt her. "Listen, Purple Girl, I don't know what you and Roman are up to, but if you touch my stuff again, it won't be good for anyone." His stuff? Oh no. Violet realized he was the necklace's owner. The green-haired guy must have stolen it. That explained why he was running. "Don't get caught up in Roman's games," he warned before stalking off with the necklace. Breathless and trembling, Violet had no idea what was going on. She just lay there, humiliated and terrified. Before she could move, another tall, imposing guy stood before her. Not again, she thought. He wore dark shades, which immediately set off Violet's internal alarm bells. Something told her the shades weren't a fashion statement, but a necessity, because there was something off about him, something darker. Violet's heart pounded, and a weird tingle ran through her, a warmth settling in her stomach. Behind those shades, she felt the weight of his gaze sizing her up. His eyes raked over her body. Her breath caught from a sudden jolt of fear. Whatever was drawing her to him, it wasn't good. Suddenly his lips twisted into a wild, unsettling grin. "Welcome, my purple flower." What the hell? High above them, the lunar board stirred. A new name burned into the stone at the very bottom of the list. Number 20, Violet Purple. Whispers and gasps all around. The new girl, the strange one with purple hair and gold eyes, had already made the lunar board on her very first day. The Alpha's smile widened, like he knew something she didn't. Violet's fear spiked. She ran, she didn't look back. Not even once. She tore through the Lunaris at a full sprint. Students flattened themselves as she passed. Her pulse wouldn't settle. Her lungs burned. Left, right, down a corridor she didn't recognize. She finally skidded to a stop when her legs refused to keep going. Silence swallowed her. No wolves, no whispers, no lunar board. Just her ragged breathing echoing off the walls. "Get it together," she muttered. This wasn't District 1. No one here knew how many times she'd been cornered in an alley. No one here knew what it felt like to go to bed hungry, to fight for space, to survive. She'd handled worse than rich wolves with attitude problems. Roman's chaos, Griffin's violence, that guy with the shades. She straightened. "They don't scare me," she said under her breath. A lie, but one she'd lived on before.